Chicken keepers all over this country spend a small fortune every summer fighting ticks and mites. A bottle of spray at the feed store, $18, and it quits working in a week. A bag of poultry dust off the shelf, another $16. Then the stronger stuff when that fails. Add it all up, and folks are handing over $100 and more every single year. And the bugs come storming right back every warm spell. And their best hens still go pale and restless and get bled in the dark. But my grandmother beat the whole thing for about $1, with one bulb of garlic off the kitchen counter, and her flock stayed clean all summer long. That is the part that ought to bother you. The feed store cannot bottle a $1 bulb of garlic and sell it back to you for 20, so they would just as soon you never learned it. Tonight I am going to hand you the exact garlic spray my grandmother made at her kitchen sink. The one that kills the mites and the ticks down in the wood and drives them clean out of the coop overnight. Stay with me, because right around the middle of this I am going to show you the one mistake that makes this spray do nothing at all. The reason most folks try it once and go running back to the bottle. Before we go on, do me one small favor. Drop a comment and tell me what state you are keeping chickens in, and what is after your flock this month. Is it the red mites? Is it the ticks? Is it the lice? I read every one. My grandmother Ada kept the hens behind my grandfather Walt's cattle place in southern Ohio, and I never once saw her carry a bottle of chemical out to that coop. I am thinking of the summer of 1960. A hot, wet one. The kind that brings the bugs out thick. I remember her standing at the sink, smashing garlic cloves flat with the side of a knife, dropping them in a jar of water on the windowsill, and letting it sit in the sun. Then she would go out at dusk with that jar and a rag and wet down the roosts. The smell of it filled the whole coop. And the mites that had the birds miserable a week before were just gone. I did not understand it then. I understand it now, and I am going to hand it to you. But first, let me put the knife in a little deeper, because those chemicals cost you more than the dollars. Every time you spray one of those jugs, you have to keep the eggs out of the kitchen for days after, because you do not want to eat what is in it either. So you are paying good money to poison the very coop your food comes out of, and paying again when the bugs come right back. And here is what turns my stomach. They knew about the garlic all along. They just could not figure out how to charge you 20 for it, so they never told you. Now to beat this bug, you have to understand it. A red mite does not live on your hen. It lives in the wood. All day it hides down in the cracks and joints of the roost. And when the coop goes dark, it pours out, drinks its fill of blood, and drops back before morning. A tick rides the bird a little longer, but it is the same soft, blood-swollen body with no armor to speak of. So you look at the hen in daylight and see almost nothing and think she is just poorly. She is not poorly. The coop is infested, and the wood is where they sleep. Here is why the garlic works, plain as I can say it. When you crush a clove of garlic, it makes a sharp compound, the same thing that stings your eyes and lingers on your fingers. It is called allicin. To a soft-bodied mite or a tick, that allicin is poison and that smell is a wall. It burns through their soft shells, and it fouls up the coop so bad that the ones it does not kill will not stay. On top of that, when your birds drink a little garlic and it works into their blood and their skin, a mite that bites them gets a mouthful it does not want, and it moves on. You are hitting them two ways at once, killing the ones in the wood and making the bird herself no place any bug wants to feed. This is not something I dreamed up on the porch. Researchers who went and tested garlic against the red mite found it killed them about as dead as the chemical sprays did, and this was written up plain, not 15 years ago. The old kitchen jar in the laboratory shook hands and agreed. Now here is where most folks go wrong, and this is the part I promised you. This is the reason somebody tries garlic once, sees the mite still there the next night, and decides it is an old wives' tale and goes hands their money back to the feed store. Listen close, because you are a couple of small steps from this working every time. The first mistake is not letting the garlic wake up. A whole clove sitting in water does almost nothing. You have to crush it, smash it flat, and then, and this is the part folks miss, you let it sit 10 or 15 minutes before you mix it, because that is how long it takes for the crushing to build up that allicin. Skip that, and you are just spraying garlic-flavored water. The second mistake is spraying it thin and watery so it runs right off the wood and dries by morning. You want to stir in a little oil, any cooking oil, a spoonful in the jar so the spray clings in the cracks and coats those soft little bodies instead of sheeting off. And the third mistake is the same one that wrecks every coop treatment there is. Folks spray the bird and never touch the wood where the bug actually lives, or they do it one time. You treat the wood, and you do it twice, about 7 days apart, because a few eggs will always hatch after the first pass, and the second spray catches them before they can breed back into an army. So let me give you the whole recipe, plain and step by step, so you can make it tonight and spray it Saturday. Number 1 is the mash. Take 1 whole bulb of garlic, that is the entire head and not a single clove. Break it apart and crush every clove flat with the side of a knife or the bottom of a jar. Then leave it be for 15 minutes, because that resting is what builds up the allicin that does the killing. Number 2 is the steep. Put that crushed garlic into a quart jar of warm water, that is about 4 cups. Stir in 1 spoon of any cooking oil and a single drop of dish soap so it all mixes together, and let it sit a few hours or overnight until the water goes cloudy and strong. Then strain the garlic out and pour the liquid into a spray bottle. That is the whole spray. 1 bulb of garlic to a quart of water, and it costs you about $1. Number 3 is the wood, and this is the heart of it. At dusk, when the mites are coming up to feed, soak every crack, every seam, every joint of that roost and the wall behind it, and get up under the perch and into the ends. Wet the nest boxes down in the corners too. Number 4 is the bird, but gently. A light misting down through the feathers around the vent and under the wings, where the bugs hide, keeping it out of her eyes. Then you do the whole thing again 7 days later. Now I know what some of you are thinking. My coop is already crawling, and my hens are already pale and miserable. Is it too late for me? It is not too late, and this is for you especially. Do not start with the spray. Start by stripping. Pull every bit of old bedding out of that coop and burn it or haul it far off, because it is full of mites and ticks and eggs. Scrape the caked filth off the roost. Then make your garlic strong, double up the cloves, and spray it heavy into that clean wood, and do it twice, 7 days apart. An old coop with an old problem is exactly where this shines, because you are finally hitting the wood where they breed instead of chasing them across the bird. And now the one thing I save for the end, the trick that turns a $1 bulb of garlic into a coop no bug wants to live in. The spray kills the ones in the wood, but you make the bird herself the trap. You crush a clove or 2 of garlic into their drinking water, a small amount, refreshed every few days through the buggy months. The birds drink it, it works into their blood and their skin, and now every mite and every tick that climbs up for a meal gets that bitter garlic and turns right around. You are killing them in the wood with the spray and starving them off the bird from the inside at the same time. That is the difference between knocking the bugs back for a week and running a coop they simply will not settle in. My grandmother did both without ever once calling it a system. She just knew garlic in the jar and garlic in the water kept her birds clean. So let me lay it out one more time, plain and in order, so you can do it this weekend. First, strip out the old bedding and get it away from the coop. Second, crush a whole bulb of garlic. Let it sit 15 minutes, then steep it in a quart of water with a spoon of oil, and strain it into a sprayer. Third, at dusk, soak every crack and joint of the roost and the nest boxes, and give the birds a light misting around the vent. Fourth, and do not skip this, spray the whole thing again 7 days later, and crush a clove into the water through the warm months so the bird fights them from the inside. That is the entire cure for about $1. You did not lose this knowledge by accident. Nobody teaches it anymore because there is no money in it. A dollar bulb of garlic that a body can grow in the garden does not build a company. A bottle you buy over and over every summer does. You were not foolish for reaching for the spray. You were just never told the simple thing. Now you have it back. So do two things for me before you go. First, go back down to that comment box and tell me what state you are keeping chickens in. And what is after your flock this month? The mites, the ticks, the lice. I read every one, and sometimes your question turns into the next video. And second, if you would rather know how a thing works than keep paying a stranger to do it, come along and sit on the fence with us. This is not about following a channel. It is a porch full of neighbors remembering the old ways one at a time. Next time I am going to show you the free dust bath you can mix up in a wash tub that stops mites from ever getting a foothold in the first place. The thing the old flocks rolled in every day that kept them clean without a drop of spray. Most folks set it up all wrong. I will show you the right way next time. Before I let you go, I think about my grandmother Ada at that windowsill on a summer evening, a jar of garlic water going cloudy in the last of the light, heading out to the coop with a rag instead of a bottle. She never had much, but she used to say the answer to most trouble was already in the kitchen if you knew where to look. Keep it plain, keep your birds clean, and I will see you next time.